and welcome back to Daily English Talk. We're so glad you're here with us today. I'm Erika.
And I'm Marco. Our goal is simple. We want to help you speak English more naturally, more confidently, and without overthinking. In each episode, Erika and I have real conversations about real topics, and you learn just by listening.
We don't just throw vocabulary lists at you. We show you how English is actually used in everyday life. And today's topic is one of my personal favorites. We're talking about international flights, 100 essential phrases you'll need when you travel by plane. From booking your ticket to arriving at your destination, we've got it all.
This is incredibly useful, Erika. Traveling to another country can feel stressful, right? So many words, so many steps, and English everywhere you look.
Exactly. Whether you're a nervous first-time flyer or you travel several times a year, this episode will give you the words and the confidence to handle every situation at the airport and on the plane.
And believe me, I've had some very interesting airport experiences. Some funny, some stressful. I'll share everything today.
I can't wait to hear those stories. Okay, before we start, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right now. It's free. And click the little bell so you get notified whenever we post a new episode. And if you're already subscribed, thank you. You're amazing. Please give this video a thumbs up before you even finish watching. It really helps us reach more English learners around the world.
Ready, Erika?
Ready? Let's dive in.
Erika, you seem full of energy today. How are you?
I'm great, actually. I'm really excited because this topic is close to my heart. I love traveling. What about you, Marco? How do you feel?
Honestly, I'm a little tired. I had a pretty big weekend.
Oh yeah? What did you do?
On Saturday, I tried to book a flight online, very relevant to today's topic, and I got completely lost on the website. I spent like 2 hours just looking at dates and prices, and I couldn't figure anything out.
Oh no, did you manage to figure it out in the end?
I did, eventually. I ended up calling a friend, and she walked me through everything, but I realized I didn't know a lot of the vocabulary. Words like layover, fare class, cabin baggage allowance. I was just clicking randomly and hoping for the best.
That's exactly why we're doing this episode. That sounds really stressful, Marco.
It was, but looking back, it's kind of funny. I'm a grown adult, and I couldn't book a simple flight without help.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Travel vocabulary is very specific. Even fluent English speakers get confused sometimes. I remember my first international flight. I was so nervous because I didn't know what transit meant. I thought I had to get off the plane and find a bus or something.
Wait, seriously?
Yes, I was so confused. I asked a flight attendant and she kindly explained that transit just means you stop at one airport on the way to another. You don't have to leave the secure area.
That's a good one. See, that's the kind of thing they never teach in textbooks.
Exactly, and that's what we're here for. Speaking of which, let's get into our main conversation. We'll walk you through the entire flight experience from beginning to end, from booking on your couch in your pajamas to landing at your dream destination.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, Marco, let's talk about international flights step by step. Let's start at the very beginning. How do you usually book your flights?
I almost always book online. I use different travel websites or go directly to the airline's site. I like to compare prices first.
Same here. I always compare prices. Sometimes the same flight on the same day can have very different prices depending on where you book.
Right, and I always check a few things. First, is it a direct flight or does it have a layover? That's so important.
For anyone who doesn't know, a direct flight goes straight from one city to another, no stops. A flight with a layover means you stop at a connecting airport in the middle. For example, you fly from Tokyo to Dubai and then from Dubai to London. Dubai is the layover city.
Exactly. Layovers can actually be great if they're the right length. I once had a 6-hour layover in Istanbul, and I actually left the airport and had breakfast in the city.
Wow, really? Isn't that risky? What if you miss your next flight?
You have to be smart about it.
The layover has to be long enough. 6 hours is usually enough to leave, explore a little, and come back with time to spare.
I'd be way too nervous. I'd be sitting at the gate 2 hours early just watching the clock.
That sounds like you, Erika. I always say, when you travel, the airport is part of the journey.
I like that. Okay, after you decide which flight to book, what happens next?
You select your flight, and then the website asks for your passenger information, your full name, date of birth, passport number. And it has to match your passport exactly. I once abbreviated my middle name, and I had a problem at check-in.
Oh, yes, that's a very common mistake. Your name on the ticket must match your passport exactly, every single letter.
Lesson learned, painfully. Then you choose your seat. Do you have a seat preference, Erika?
Window seat, 100%, no question.
Really? Why?
Because I love looking out at the clouds and the cities from above. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I press my face against the window like a little kid.
That's so cute. I'm actually the opposite. I prefer the aisle seat.
Why don't you like the view?
I love the view, but I drink a lot of water on flights. I get dehydrated easily, so I need to go to the bathroom often. I don't want to keep climbing over people.
Oh, that's so practical of you, Marco.
I try. And aisle seats also give you a little more leg room on one side. You can stretch your leg into the aisle.
That's true. Okay, after you choose your seat, you pay, and then what?
You get a booking confirmation. It usually comes to your email immediately with your booking reference number, sometimes called a PNR code, and all your flight details. I always screenshot that confirmation, save the PDF, and print a copy.
You are very prepared sometimes, Marco.
Only for important things. For everything else, I'm totally disorganized.
That's very honest. Okay, now fast forward to the day of the flight. What do you do first?
I try to check in online. Most airlines let you do online check-in 24 to 48 hours before the flight. That means you confirm your seat and get your boarding pass through the website or the airline's app. It saves so much time at the airport. And you can usually choose your seat again. Sometimes better seats become available.
Exactly. And after online check-in, you download your boarding pass to your phone or print it if you prefer paper.
I always print mine. I know it's old-fashioned, but I don't trust my phone's battery at airports.
That's actually not a bad reason. Phones can die at the worst moments. Okay, so you have your boarding pass. Now you go to the airport. When do you usually arrive?
I try to get there 3 hours early for an international flight. Some people think that's too early, but I like to have time.
That's actually a good rule for international flights. 3 hours is the recommended time for most airports. You need to check your bags, go through security and passport control, find your gate. There's a lot to do, and sometimes the lines are very long. I was at the airport in Paris once, and the security line took over an hour.
Oh yes, Paris Charles de Gaulle is famous for long queues. Okay, let's talk about checking bags. When you travel internationally, what do you usually bring?
I try to travel light. I usually just bring a carry-on if the trip is less than 2 weeks.
Really? That's impressive. I always check a bag. I can never travel light. What do you bring?
Clothes, shoes. I always need more shoes than I plan for. My skincare routine, books, snacks for the plane.
Snacks for the plane? The airline gives you food.
I know, but airline food is unpredictable. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's, let's say, interesting. I like to have backup snacks.
Fair point. So when you check a bag, what happens?
You go to the check-in counter. That's the desk at the airport with the airline's name above it. You give your passport and your booking reference. The agent checks your information, then puts your bag on the scale.
Yes, they weigh your baggage. Most international airlines allow 20 to 23 kilograms for checked baggage. If your bag is over the weight limit, you pay an excess baggage fee. And those fees can be really expensive. I've seen people at the airport desperately taking clothes out of their suitcase and putting them on themselves to avoid the fee.
I have done something similar once. I was 3 kilograms over the limit, so I took out 2 pairs of shoes and put them in my carry-on bag, and it just barely came in under.
Genius. Desperate, but genius.
Thank you. Okay, After they check the bag, they attach a baggage tag to your suitcase. It has a barcode and your destination on it. They put it on a conveyor belt, and it loads somewhere behind the scenes. You just hope it comes out on the other side.
Right. And they give you a baggage claim receipt, a small sticker with a tracking number. Keep that. If your bag gets lost, you'll need it. Has your bag ever been lost?
Once. My connecting flight was delayed, and my bag didn't make the connection. It arrived 1 day late. It was stressful, but the airline handled it okay.
That sounds terrible. So, after checking bags, what's next?
Security. That's the checkpoint where they scan your carry-on bags, and you walk through a metal detector or a full-body scanner. You have to take off your shoes and your belt and take your laptop out of your bag.
And liquids. You can only bring liquids in containers of 100 milliliters or less, and they have to be in a clear plastic bag. I always forget something. One time, I had a full bottle of shampoo in my carry-on. I didn't realize it until they were scanning my bag. They took it away.
Oh, that's always sad, especially if it's a nice bottle.
It was a special shampoo. I was upset.
Well, next time you'll remember. Okay, after security comes passport control. That's where an officer checks your passport and sometimes your visa. For international flights, you always go through passport control before boarding. The officer might ask you questions like, where are you going? What is the purpose of your trip? How long will you stay? Do you have a return ticket? You have to stay calm and polite, even if you're nervous.
Exactly. Just answer simply and clearly. I am visiting for tourism. I will stay for 2 weeks. Yes, I have a return ticket for September 10th. Short and clear.
After passport control, you enter the departure area, the part of the airport with all the shops and restaurants. Duty-free shopping.
Oh, duty-free. I always spend too much money there. What do you buy?
Chocolate, perfume, sometimes those giant Toblerones. And then you need to find your gate. Your boarding pass shows your gate number, like B22 or Terminal 3, Gate 45.
And I always walk to the wrong gate first somehow, even when I'm reading the sign correctly. How does that happen?
I genuinely don't know.
I think I misread or I go to the right letter but wrong number. Last time I walked for 10 minutes to gate A12, and my gate was actually A21. I just reversed the numbers.
That is such a Marco thing to do.
I own it. Okay, you find your gate and you wait. At the gate, you'll see the departure board. It shows your flight number, destination, and boarding time. What's the difference between departure time and boarding time?
Great question. Boarding time is when they start letting passengers onto the plane. Departure time is when the plane actually leaves the gate. Boarding usually starts 30 to 45 minutes before departure.
Ah, so if my flight departs at 2 p.m., boarding might start at 1:20 or 1:30.
Exactly. And they board in groups, business class and families with small children first, then passengers row by row, back to front.
Wait, why back to front?
So the people in the back rows get on first, and people don't block the aisle while others are still coming in.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it. Okay, you get on the plane. The flight attendant greets you at the door. What do they say?
Things like, welcome aboard, or good morning, may I see your boarding pass? Welcome aboard means welcome to the plane. Aboard means on the vehicle, the plane, the ship, the train. Then you find your seat. Your boarding pass shows your seat number, like 24A or 15C. The letters usually go, A and B are window and middle seats on one side, C is the aisle. Then across the aisle, D is the aisle, E is the middle, F is the window.
This is why I always get confused about which window seat to choose.
On a standard plane, A and F are both window seats. A is on the left side when you face forward. F is on the right.
Good to know. So you find your seat, you put your carry-on in the overhead bin. That's the storage compartment above your head.
Yes, and please put your bag in the bin above your own seat, not someone else's. And put it wheels first so it's more compact. Very important travel etiquette tip.
Then you sit down, buckle your seatbelt. The flight attendant will do the safety demonstration.
I feel like nobody watches the safety demonstration after their first flight.
You should always watch Erika. It might be different on different planes, and you never know.
I know, you're right. I'll watch from now on.
The pilot makes an announcement before takeoff, something like, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are now ready for departure." Our flight time today will be approximately 9 hours and 30 minutes. We will be reaching a cruising altitude of 35,000 feet.
I love when the pilot says the weather at the destination. It is currently sunny and 18 degrees in Barcelona. Yes, it makes the destination feel real. You start imagining arriving. Then the engine gets louder and louder, and then, whoosh, takeoff. During takeoff and landing, you have to keep your seatbelt fastened and your seat in the upright position. Electronic devices usually have to be in airplane mode.
Once you're in the air, there's usually a seatbelt sign. When it's off, you can unbuckle and move around. The flight attendants come around with a drinks cart. They ask, "What would you like to drink?" And I always say orange juice. Every single flight. I don't know why, but orange juice at 30,000 feet just hits differently.
There's actually a scientific reason for that. At high altitude, your sense of taste changes a little. Sweet and salty flavors are less intense, but umami flavors are stronger. That's why many people love tomato juice on planes when they never drink it on the ground.
Wow, really? I've never tried tomato juice on a plane.
You should. Then comes the meal service. On long-haul flights, the attendant asks what you want. Usually there are two options, something like chicken or pasta, fish or beef. You have to speak clearly. One time I said chicken, but with my mask on and the noise of the engine, the attendant heard kitchen, which obviously makes no sense, and she looked very confused.
That's a great story. On planes, speak clearly, and perhaps point to the option if you can. Good tip. You can also make special meal requests in advance when you book. Vegetarian, halal, kosher, gluten-free.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's really useful. Yes, you just request it when booking or through the airline's website before the flight. It's usually free. What if you need something during the flight, like more water or a blanket?
You press the call button, a little button above your seat with a person icon. A flight attendant will come to you. And when you ask, be polite. "Excuse me, could I have another blanket, please?" Or, "I'm sorry to bother you, but may I have some water?"
Exactly. Please and thank you go a very long way with flight attendants. They work so hard.
They really do. Okay, let's talk about something that sometimes happens. Turbulence. Can you explain what that is?
Yes. Turbulence is when the plane shakes or bumps because of rough air currents. It can feel scary if you're not used to it, but it's completely normal and safe. I was on a flight once where the turbulence was very intense, like a roller coaster, and the man sitting next to me was completely asleep through all of it, snoring.
That's impressive.
I was gripping my armrest for dear life, and he was just dreaming about something peaceful. When there's turbulence, the captain usually turns on the seatbelt sign and makes an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting some turbulence. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts." And when it's smooth again, the seatbelt sign has been turned off. You may now move about the cabin. Move about the cabin is a classic flight phrase. It just means you can walk around inside the plane.
What about long flights, Erika? Like a 12-hour flight or longer? What do you do?
I have a whole system. First, I always bring noise-canceling headphones. I watch movies, listen to podcasts. Sometimes I sleep.
Do you have trouble sleeping on planes?
A little. I bring a travel pillow, the U-shaped one that goes around your neck, and a sleep mask.
I have a travel pillow too, but I always forget where I pack it until I'm already on the plane.
I also drink a lot of water during the flight. The air inside a plane is very dry. You can get dehydrated without realizing it, and avoid too much coffee or alcohol for the same reason.
Exactly right. Alcohol dehydrates you, and it also affects you more strongly at altitude. So one glass of wine on a plane can feel like two on the ground.
Interesting. I'll remember that. What about jet lag? Do you have tips for that?
Oh, jet lag is real. Jet lag is when your body's internal clock gets confused because you've crossed many time zones. You feel tired at strange times. Last time I flew from London to Los Angeles, I was awake at 3 a.m. for 3 nights. My body thought it was daytime.
That flight is particularly hard because it's a huge time difference. Tips that help: try to switch to the destination's time zone as soon as you board the plane. If it's nighttime at your destination, try to sleep on the plane and get outside in natural sunlight at the destination.
Yes, sunlight tells your brain what time it is.
It helps reset your internal clock faster.
Good to know. Okay, let's talk about landing. That's exciting.
Yes. Before landing, the flight attendants come around to collect any trash and check that seats are upright and tray tables are stowed. Then the captain announces the descent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent into New York. The local time is 6:45 in the evening. The weather is partly cloudy with a temperature of 12 degrees Celsius.
During descent, your ears might pop because of the change in air pressure. Yawning, swallowing, or chewing gum helps.
I always chew gum on planes, just for this reason. I keep a pack in my jacket pocket. Always.
Smart habit. Then touchdown. The plane lands. Sometimes everyone claps.
I always want to clap, but then I look around and nobody else is doing it, so I stop myself.
I always clap quietly. I think it's a nice thing to do. The pilots work hard.
Okay, so you've landed. Now what?
Now you go through arrival procedures. First, you have to stay seated until the plane reaches the gate and the seatbelt sign turns off. Then everyone stands up and gets their bags from the overhead bins, and everyone rushes even though nobody is going anywhere yet.
Yes, that's very true.
You exit the plane and follow the signs to passport control, or immigration. That's where an officer checks your passport again at your destination country. They might stamp your passport.
I love getting stamps.
Me too. It's like a little souvenir on every page. Then, after passport control, you go to baggage claim. Baggage claim is the area with the big conveyor belts where your checked bags come out. You look for your flight number on the board. It tells you which belt your bags will come from. Then you wait and watch the same 5 bags go around 3 times because they're not yours. But eventually your bag comes, you grab it, and then you go through customs.
What is customs exactly?
Customs is where you declare or report anything you're bringing into the country, like food items, large amounts of money, or expensive goods. On the plane, they usually give you a customs declaration form to fill out. You have to write what you're bringing. Most tourists don't have anything to declare, so they just write "nothing to declare" and walk through the green lane. Green lane for nothing to declare. Red lane if you have something to declare.
Exactly. And then you're out. You exit to the arrivals hall. That's where people are waiting with signs, flowers, and balloons. Sometimes there are people holding signs with names.
I've always wanted someone to pick me up with a sign that says my name. That would be fun.
And then you find your transport. Taxi, bus, metro, or someone picking you up. And your journey truly begins.
So, to summarize the whole journey, you book, you check in online, you go to the airport, drop your bags, go through security and passport control, find your gate, board, fly, land, go through immigration, collect your bags, clear customs, and exit. That's it.
That is it. 14 major steps. And at every step, there are specific phrases you need. I think we covered most of them in this conversation.
We really did. I feel like I learned a lot just from this conversation, and I've flown many times. Language makes everything clearer.
Before we go to the vocabulary breakdown, let me ask, is there anything about flights that you find confusing or stressful that we haven't covered?
One thing. What happens if your flight is delayed or canceled?
Great point. If your flight is delayed, the airline must provide information about the new departure time. If the delay is long, usually over 3 hours, you may be entitled to a meal voucher or a hotel if it's overnight. And if the flight is canceled, the airline must offer you a choice, a full refund or a new flight to your destination. You go to the airline service desk and they help you rebook. Useful phrases, "Excuse me, my flight has been canceled. Can you help me rebook?" Or, "I'd like a refund, please." Or, "What is the next available flight to Paris?"
Perfect. Those are excellent phrases. And stay calm. The airline staff are trying to help everyone. Staying polite gets you better results.
Erika is speaking from experience, I can tell.
Maybe. Okay, now let's move to our vocabulary breakdown.
You know, while we were talking, we used so many useful words and phrases. Some we explained quickly, but let's give them more attention. Let's do a proper vocabulary breakdown.
Yes, I love this part. Some of those words I've heard before, but I wasn't totally sure what they meant.
Okay, let's go. First word, layover. Layover. We talked about this one. It's a stop during a flight, right?
Exactly. A layover is a stop between 2 flights at a connecting airport. It's the time you spend waiting in a city that is not your final destination. For example, my flight from Seoul to New York has a 6-hour layover in Tokyo. And you can say, I had a long layover in Dubai, so I went to see the city.
Perfect. Layovers can be short, sometimes just 1 hour, or very long, like 12 hours or even overnight. A short layover is a little stressful because you have to hurry to your next gate. A very long layover is sometimes called a stopover.
Yes, very similar. Some people use them interchangeably, but technically a stopover is usually longer, overnight or more. Stop suggests you have time to actually leave the airport and rest.
Good to know the difference. My favorite stopover was in Singapore. I had 14 hours, so I went and explored Chinatown and had amazing food.
That sounds incredible. Next word, boarding pass. 2 words together. This is the ticket you use to get on the plane.
Right. A boarding pass is the document, paper or digital, that shows your flight information and allows you to board the plane. It includes your name, flight number, date, departure time, seat number, and gate number. Please have your boarding pass and passport ready. I hear that all the time.
Yes, you hear it at many points: security, passport control, and boarding. Example, I downloaded my boarding pass to my phone, so I didn't need to print anything. And the gate agent scanned my boarding pass and let me onto the plane.
Great sentence. What do you prefer, digital or paper?
Honestly, I try to go digital, but I always panic and print one too, just in case. I need both to feel safe. Belt and suspenders approach.
What does that mean?
It's an expression, belt and suspenders, like wearing both to hold up your trousers. It means you do 2 things when one should be enough. You're extra careful.
That's me. Belt and suspenders, Erika.
Third word, carry-on. C-A-R-R-Y-O-N. That's the small bag you bring on the plane with you.
Yes, a carry-on bag, also called cabin luggage or hand luggage, is a bag small enough to fit in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. You take it on the plane yourself. You don't check it.
Airlines have rules about the size and weight of carry-on bags, right?
Yes, every airline is a little different, but usually the maximum is around 55 by 40 by 20 centimeters and about 7 to 10 kilograms. Example, I always pack everything in my carry-on so I don't have to wait at baggage claim.
Good one. And make sure your carry-on fits in the overhead bin. If it's too big, they'll make you check it at the gate.
Oh, that happened to me once. They made me check my bag at the gate because the flight was full. I was so annoyed.
That happens a lot on full flights. Next word, overhead bin or overhead compartment. That's the storage space above your seat.
Exactly. The overhead bin, also called overhead compartment or overhead locker, is the enclosed storage shelf above the passenger seats where you put your carry-on luggage. Flight attendants say every single flight, please place your carry-on in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
Great real-world example. And the overhead bin above my seat was already full, so I had to put my bag 3 rows back. That's the worst. Then you have to wait while everyone gets off the plane before you can get your bag. Very frustrating. Always try to board a little early so you can claim the overhead bin space above your own seat. Pro tip.
What's next?
Next, turbulence. T-U-R-B-U-L-E-N-C-E. The shaking.
I know this one. It's when the plane shakes because of the air.
Exactly. Turbulence is irregular movement or vibration of an aircraft caused by unstable air currents. It can feel mild, like driving on a slightly bumpy road, or more intense, like the plane is dropping suddenly.
And it's safe, right? Even when it feels scary.
Almost always, yes. Modern aircraft are built to handle severe turbulence. Pilots are trained for it. It's one of the safest parts of flying, even though it doesn't feel that way. Example, the pilot warned us about turbulence ahead and asked us to return to our seats. And I felt nervous during the turbulence, but the flight attendant smiled at me, which helped me stay calm.
That's such a human moment. Okay, what's next?
Next word, customs. C-U-S-T-O-M-S. The place where they check what you're bringing into a country.
Exactly. Customs is the government agency and the process of checking and controlling what people bring in and out of a country. Some things are restricted or taxed when you bring them across borders, like large amounts of cash, certain foods, and valuable items.
Yes, and you fill out a customs declaration form on the plane to show what you're bringing. I went through customs quickly because I had nothing to declare. And at customs, the officer asked me how long I was staying and where I would be staying.
Can you explain nothing to declare more?
Of course. To declare means to officially tell the customs officers what you are bringing. If you are bringing items above the allowed limit, like very expensive gifts or large amounts of money, you must declare them. If you have normal personal belongings and nothing over the limit, you have nothing to declare, and you walk through the green lane.
Got it. It's about honesty and following the law.
Exactly. Next word, jet lag. 2 words.
Oh, I know this one personally. It's when you travel across time zones and you feel exhausted and confused about time.
Perfect explanation. Jet lag is the temporary feeling of fatigue, disorientation, and disrupted sleep patterns caused by rapid travel across multiple time zones. Your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, hasn't adjusted to the new time zone yet.
It usually lasts a few days, right?
Generally, it takes about 1 day per time zone crossed to fully recover. So if you cross 10 time zones, it might take up to 10 days to fully adjust.
I had terrible jet lag after flying from Tokyo to New York. I couldn't sleep at night for 4 days.
Yes, that's a classic route for bad jet lag. And to reduce jet lag, I always change my watch to the destination's time zone as soon as I board the plane.
Smart. Does that actually help mentally?
Yes, it helps your brain start thinking in the new time, and it helps you decide whether to sleep or stay awake on the flight.
Smart. Okay, what else?
Next, departure and arrival. 2 related words. Departure is when you leave, arrival is when you get there.
Exactly. Departure means the act of leaving, the flight going from somewhere. Arrival means the act of arriving, the flight coming to somewhere. In airports, there are 2 separate areas, the departure hall and the arrivals hall. My departure is at 10 a.m. from Terminal 2, and I'll meet you in the arrivals hall after I collect my luggage.
You also hear these on boards in the airport, the departure board and the arrival board. The departure board shows outgoing flights and their dates and times. The arrival board shows incoming flights and whether they've landed. My family always checks the arrival board when they're picking me up from the airport. Then they know exactly when to come to the arrivals hall.
That's very practical. Next, aisle. A-I-S-L-E. The word looks strange, but it's pronounced aisle, the walkway on the plane.
Yes, the aisle is the narrow corridor or walkway that runs down the middle of the plane between the rows of seats. Aisle seat means the seat next to that walkway. And we talked about this. The aisle seat gives you easy access to get up without climbing over your neighbors.
Exactly. I prefer the aisle seat because I need to stretch my legs during long flights. And, excuse me, could I get past you? I need to use the aisle. That's a great polite sentence if someone is blocking the aisle with their luggage or standing in it.
What's next?
Next word, itinerary. I-T-I-N-E-R-A-R-Y. This one is longer. That's the travel plan, the schedule.
Yes, an itinerary is a detailed plan or schedule of your journey. It includes your flight details, hotel information, planned activities, dates, and times. My travel agent sent me a full itinerary for my Europe trip, and I always print my itinerary and keep it in my jacket pocket when traveling, especially the hotel address.
That's a good tip. What if your phone dies and you can't find your hotel? Paper is reliable.
Okay, last main vocabulary word. Boarding. B-O-A-R-D-I-N-G. Getting on the plane.
Yes, boarding is the process of passengers getting on the plane. When the airline is ready, they make a boarding announcement, and you go through the gate onto the plane. Boarding has now begun for flight AX203 to Rome. Please have your boarding pass and passport ready. Perfect official sounding sentence.
And they called boarding, and I still hadn't finished my coffee. I had to rush. Related phrase, final boarding call. That means it's the last announcement. If you don't board now, the gate will close and you'll miss your flight. That's a very stressful phrase.
It is. If you ever hear, "This is the final boarding call for passenger Marco on flight BA107, run." I have a phobia of that happening. I'm always at the gate early.
Good habit. Okay, let me quickly summarize all the vocabulary words from today.
Great idea. Hit it, Erika.
Layover, a stop between two flights at a connecting airport. Boarding pass, the document that lets you get on the plane. Carry-on, a small bag you take on the plane yourself. Overhead bin, the storage compartment above your seat. Turbulence, the shaking movement of a plane caused by unstable air. Customs, the government process of checking what you bring in or out of a country. Jet lag, exhaustion and disorientation from crossing many time zones. Departure, leaving, the outgoing flight. Arrival, arriving, the incoming flight. Aisle, the walkway between seats on a plane. Itinerary, your complete travel plan and schedule. Boarding, the process of getting on the plane.
Those are 12 really important words. Every one of them came up naturally in our conversation. That's the best way to learn vocabulary, in context, not just memorizing lists.
I completely agree. I always remember words better when I hear them in a story.
Okay, that was a lot of talking about international flights.
I know, but I loved every minute of it. I feel like I know so much more now, and I realized I was doing some things wrong.
Don't worry, we all learn as we go. All right, let's think about what we learned today. Let's review the whole flight journey together.
Great idea. Let's make it really clear for everyone.
First, we learned about booking your flight. This happens before you even go to the airport. You compare prices, choose a direct flight or a flight with a layover, enter your passenger information, which must match your passport exactly, and select your seat. Important phrases. I'd like to book a round-trip ticket to London. Is there a direct flight available? I'd like a window seat, please. What is the baggage allowance?
Excellent. Then we talked about check-in. You can check in online 24 to 48 hours before your flight. You get your boarding pass. Key phrases. I checked in online and downloaded my boarding pass. I'd like to select an aisle seat. Can I change my seat?
After that, we covered arriving at the airport and dropping off your checked bags at the check-in counter. Key phrases. I'd like to check this bag, please. How much does my bag weigh? Is my bag over the weight limit? Can I put this in my carry-on instead?
Then we talked about security and passport control. Security is where you scan your bags and walk through the detector. Passport control is where an officer checks your documents. Key phrases. Please remove your shoes and belt. Please take your laptop out of your bag. What is the purpose of your visit? How long will you be staying? I'm here for tourism.
After that, we went through the boarding process and what happens on the plane. Finding your gate, boarding, settling into your seat, the safety demonstration, takeoff, the flight itself. Key phrases. Welcome aboard. Please fasten your seatbelt. Could I have some water, please? Excuse me, I'd like to get past you. What time will we arrive? We are experiencing some turbulence.
And finally, we talked about landing and arrival procedures, passport control at your destination, baggage claim, customs, and exiting to the arrivals hall. Key phrases. How long are you planning to stay? I have nothing to declare. Excuse me, which belt is my flight on? My bag hasn't arrived. Who can I speak to? Where is the taxi rank?
Excellent. So you see, when you break it down into steps, it's actually very manageable. 14 steps, and at each one, you only need a few simple, clear phrases. And honestly, the same few words come up again and again. Passport, boarding pass, gate, seat, bag, destination. Once you know those basic words, you can communicate a lot.
Absolutely. And people at airports, airline staff, security, passport officers, they talk to travelers every single day. They're used to people who speak English as a second language. They will speak slowly, repeat themselves, and help you.
That's really reassuring. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Never. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Could you repeat that? Is always acceptable. Could you speak more slowly, please? Is always acceptable.
I feel so much more prepared for my next flight, which, by the way, is in about 6 weeks. I'm going to visit my brother in Canada.
Oh, how exciting. See? Perfect timing for this episode.
I know. I'm going to use every single phrase we talked about today.
Now, we want to hear from you. This is our favorite part of every video.
Yes, please keep reading. This part is really fun. Our question of the day is, where is one place in the world you would love to fly to, and why? And bonus question,
Have you ever had a funny, stressful, or memorable experience at an airport or on a plane?
Ooh, I love this question. Can I go first?
Okay.
One place I really want to fly to is Japan, specifically Tokyo. I want to try real ramen, see the cherry blossoms, visit the temples. I've wanted to go for years. And actually, I have had a memorable airport moment. On my very first solo flight, I went to the completely wrong terminal and missed my flight. I had to rebook everything. I was 22 years old and I cried in the airport.
Oh, Marco, that's awful, but also very relatable. I learned so much that day. Now I'm obsessed with reading every sign at airports.
That explains a lot. Okay, my turn. A place I would love to fly to is Patagonia in South America, the very tip of Argentina and Chile. The landscapes look absolutely extraordinary. Mountains, glaciers, condors flying overhead. It's remote and wild and beautiful.
That sounds breathtaking. And my memorable airport moment? I was in Bangkok once and I couldn't find my gate. The airport is huge. I walked for 25 minutes and ended up in the completely wrong terminal. I had to take a shuttle bus back. I made my flight with just 10 minutes to spare.
That is very stressful. My hands got sweaty just hearing that story.
My heart was pounding, but I made it.
See, we have very different travel styles. You are adventurous and somehow always make the flight. I am nervous and overly prepared, and somehow I still make mistakes.
Yes, and that's okay. There's no one right way to travel.
So, viewers, we want to hear your answers. We genuinely read your comments, especially on questions like this, because you share such amazing and funny stories. Please tell us in the comments. You can write something like, I would love to fly to place because reason. One time at the airport, your experience. Or even simply, my dream destination is place. I have never flown internationally before, but I hope to one day. Or, I travel a lot for work. My most memorable flight was your experience. Any answer is welcome, short or long, in English. And please try your best. Remember, writing English in the comments is also practice, and it helps us make better videos because we learn what topics matter most to you. So it's a win for you and a win for us.
Exactly. Please share. We are reading.
Before we go, we want to say a truly heartfelt thank you for spending this time with us today. Seriously, it means the world to us. You chose to spend your time here, learning English with us, and we don't take that lightly.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up right now. It's one click, and it helps so many other English learners find this channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and the little bell icon next to it. That way, you will get a notification every time we post a new video, and we post regularly. You will never miss a lesson. And trust us, we have some really exciting topics coming up. You do not want to miss them.
You are all amazing students. Seriously, whether you understood every word today or only some of it, that's okay. That's progress. Every word you learned today is a word you didn't have before. Keep practicing. Remember, fluency is not about being perfect. It is about being understood. Every time you use a new word, every time you try, that is a victory. Small steps every day. That's how you get there.
And we are here with you every step of the way. See you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, a beautiful evening, and a peaceful night, wherever in the world you're watching from. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Safe travels, and remember, the world is waiting for you. Go explore it. Bye, everyone.